morning, Scotland. Good morning, social media land. I hope you are well. It is Wednesday, the 6th of November 2024. The discussions around Scottish independence and the Union are rarely civil or rational when engaged in heated debates, especially online. Unionist arguments often feel like weapons rather than sincere contributions to discourse. As independence activists, we face the dual challenge of promoting our nation's future and enduring interactions with peoples whose loyalty to the Union verges on a psychological defence mechanism. These toxic Unionists frequently aim to engage constructively but derail, belittle and exhaust us. Picture this: you share a thoughtful comment about Scotland's economic potential. In return, you receive a flood of dismissive, condescending responses, often rife with circular arguments and personal attacks. Toxic Unionists label independence supporters as naïve, preferring hearsay and empty rhetoric over their own facts. It's draining and feels like an endless loop. So how do we engage effectively without losing hope? The answer lies in strategic questioning, a method rooted in Socratic philosophy. Instead of overwhelming toxic individuals with data which they often dismiss, Socratic questioning asks them to confront their own beliefs and contradictions. It doesn't tell them that they're wrong, but invites them to think critically. Consider the economic stability argument. Scotland depends on Westminster's financial support and would be bankrupt without it. Instead of countering with stats, ask, how do you get that? How do you reconcile Scotland's receiving support when we generate 88.5 billion annually, much more than what we get back? Doesn't this suggest our wealth is used elsewhere? When they deflect from the doom and gloom scenarios about an independent economy collapsing, respond with, if countries with fewer resources manage just fine, why do you think Scotland, with our significant assets, couldn't? We get jumped upon with currency, and I've experienced many a circular argument with Unionists on currency. Unionists insist you can't have the pound and your currency would fail. So the questioning line that I've always used was, why couldn't Scotland establish a stable currency when nations like the Czech Republic have done so? Given with our natural wealth, wouldn't that support economic stability? If they shift to the euro fears, follow up with countries like Sweden remain in the EU without adopting the euro, why couldn't Scotland negotiate similar terms? These questions redirect the debate from fear to rational inquiry. Unionists claim independence would mean a hard border, destroying trade and splitting up families. Well, if the Northern Ireland Protocol can manage complex border issues between the EU and the UK, why couldn't similar solutions be found for Scotland and England? They will argue about trade dependency. Respond with, isn't much of our so-called trade with England actually routed through English ports on its way to international export? Wouldn't independence let us manage global trade more efficiently? The hot topic of defence and security concerns often comes up too. Unionists say Scotland would be defenceless without the UK military. Do Scotland's security needs align with the UK's global military agenda, or could we create a strategy focused on regional protection? Highlight Scotland's strategic importance. Wouldn't NATO have a vested interest in our stability as it does with other small nations? Again, this shifts the focus from fear to realistic defence options. When it comes to the cultural argument, Unionists claim independence severs ties with England, jeopardising shared identity. Does it now? Does independence mean cutting ties, or could it redefine our relationship as equals? When they point out the historical unity, counter it with recent policies like those of Thatcher have driven a wedge between us. How do we preserve our values while being governed by a system that often contradicts Scottish values? And when they say, well, those British values are my values. Point the finger at the race riots just recently and the absolute disgrace that is supporting Israel. Are those your values? Are those what you are happy with? Sometimes Unionists will derail the conversation by responding to your questions with more questions. Stay focused. Listen, I'm happy to discuss that, but could we first address the economic potential given our natural resources? Just pull them back to the question and the discussion that you were already doing. If they don't do that, just walk away from it. It's not worth your energy. When you do pull it back, it truly helps to keep that whole conversation grounded. Remember that engaging with toxic individuals can be mentally draining. And be mindful when a discussion isn't going anywhere, and know that it's perfectly acceptable to walk away. Self-care is vital. Not every conversation is worth your energy. Some people's beliefs are so deeply entrenched, like as I've said, a form of Stockholm Syndrome, that no evidence will ever change their minds. Focus instead on constructive conversations or stepping back to recharge. Our goal isn't to change every Unionist's mind, but to strengthen our own understanding and our own resolve, to reach the people that are soft no voters and soft yes voters, and that great reserve of potential of undecided voters. Socratic questioning equips us with the tools to inspire reflection, making us more confident advocates for independence. Even if we don't see immediate change, every seed of doubt we plant could grow deeper in consideration. We're not just engaging in debates, we're advocating for our nation's future with hope, intelligence and determination. The great sea of undecided voters, that great legion of people that are waiting to make up their mind, they observe the behaviours of our movement. They observe the behaviours of the union, and they're silent. They're quiet about it. You will never know what this silent majority are truly thinking. So it's very important that we engage in a positive way and walk away from the toxic environment of stupid, pointless, energy-draining debates. Why do we engage and use our energy to do such things? We should be making a positive engagement with the general public. We should be writing blogs, doing memes, and we can take the mickey. That's the fun part of it all. But in the grand scheme of things, we need to be objective, we need to be sincere, and we need to be approachable. We need to have the energy of 2014, that addictive, effervescent, positive energy, as well as a direct, engaging, honest, pragmatic approach to our policies, to our engagement with other people regarding independence. If you can't answer a question, don't make it up. Don't make up an answer. Just say, that's a great question. I don't know what that is, but I'll do my best to find out. Go and find somebody that might know the answer within the movement. There's bound to be somebody. At the end of the day, our behaviours should dictate the future Scotland that we want to build. A Scotland where everyone counts. Everyone counts. Tomorrow, we're going to be discussing the positive case for independence by having a bit of fun and take the mickey out of the positive case for the union. Until then, have a great day.
I can't get no sleep.